Jackie, thank you so much for everything that you do and everything that you have done for our community here in Williamsburg and James City County over so many years. So I want to take a moment before we go to the presentation to speak as a parent, because I have been born and raised in Virginia, and my father was a high school English teacher here in Virginia his entire career. And we have seen the types of barriers that have occurred in education that have developed over the course of the last 400 plus years. And those are real here in Williamsburg, James City County. Anybody who tells you that they're not is either willfully blind or trying to sell you something. And organizations like the Village are there to be able to break down institutional racism, but also institutional barriers to inclusion and barriers to understanding, because racism doesn't occur in a vacuum. It comes from a lack of understanding and a lack of empathy and a lack of engagement. And so much of what the Village has been a part of for so long has been about breaking down those barriers. And so actually, last year, the Integration Then and Now, the Voices from the Community project was what sort of inspired me a little bit to speak to members of the General Assembly. We're not quite like Washington, D.C., where everything's partisan, but we're still a little different. And it's hard sometimes to get 140 members of the General Assembly, Republican and Democrat, from Northern Virginia, Southwest Virginia, Southeast Virginia, wherever it happens to be, to agree on anything. And it's an amazing thing to be able to get everybody, 140 members, to be able to agree on a initiative right here commending the Village. And so I don't want to read it through everything else, but it talks about the tutoring program. It talks about the Integration Then and Now program. It talks a little bit about breaking down the structural barriers that we have spoken about multiple times. And then it talks a little bit about how there are concerns and issues that are unique to Williamsburg and James City County that we don't always hear about because they don't make the statewide or national news. But the effects of massive resistance are still being felt on a daily basis right here on the peninsula. The effects of structural racism in our criminal justice system have been seen on a daily basis. And so seeing an organization like the Village, it has been a breath of fresh air in a time in which so many people can't breathe. And so I guess Jackie, Lee, everybody else who's on this call, I appreciate what you're doing and why you're doing it. And I just wanted to say thank you for a minute. I apologize, I'm wearing my glasses, I'm unshaven and in a t-shirt, but that's where we are now in COVID. We're doing everything from our kitchen table, which is where I'm at right now. So I guess I wanted to say I love y'all. I'm grateful for everything that you're doing. And at the appropriate time, when we're all allowed to no longer socially distance, I'd like to be able to present a expression of the General Assembly in both the House and the Senate concurring, commending the Village Initiative for everything that it has done and for what it is going to do in the future. So I appreciate it.
Mike, so much. And I'd just be remiss if I didn't also acknowledge that Mike has supported us from day one. We've always looked at things through the same lens. When you speak about the school to prison pipeline, the juvenile justice system, inequities, as Mike has just so spoken about. And we thank you, Mike, so much for being a grand leader in the General Assembly and for all the work that you do all of the legislation that you present, advocating for the communities and for people. And we just thank you so much. And we're so honored. We are honored. And I really want our team to say something. I don't want to take the glory because Lord knows this is a team effort through and through, every week, every day, heartfelt. Being in COVID, we're in Zoom calls, phone calls, texts. It never stops. It's been unending. And not only have we been able to address the inequities in education, but also in food and other concerns in the community. I really want to get the team to say something. And again, Mike, thank you so much for everything that you do from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. Thank you. Team, Philip, please say something. You're muted. Oh, okay.
You know, Jackie, I think you kind of summed it up very well. Definitely, Mike, we thank you for everything that you do. But, you know, I also want to acknowledge all the small people and the everyday people who support us coming to villages, meetings, who call, who seek us out for assistance and just direction. And, you know, the small things, you're just walking out throughout the community and people saying thank you. You know, if I can help you, let me know. So, you know, our work is an extension of the community's requests and just making our school division a much better school division. I often say we have a very good school division here in Williamsburg, James City County. I'm not at the we're great yet, but we're definitely getting there by having these honest dialogues and these courageous conversations that we often have. So thank you again very much, and thank everybody who's on the Zoom call right now. You know, especially the young folk. I cannot go without thanking the young people that are on this call, because they are definitely making a difference in what they're doing as well. So thank you very much.